pre-shot routines. Let's talk about it right after the intro. Hey guys, listen, we can all do a better job of thinking on the course, and having a good pre-shot routine is going to be so key to helping you develop consistency out there on the course. And it's also going to help you to fight off some of that fear, that nervousness. It's going to give you a buffer against that, but it's also going to help you to keep from driving your card mates or other people crazy with all the extra stuff you're doing out there. So I think it's an important thing, and I hope you'll stick with me as we walk through the whole idea of establishing a good pre-shot routine. It's everything that you do every time you step up. I tend to be looser in my actions. I just get up there and throw. That's some of why I love running rounds and one disc rounds. I'm a natural player. I like to play fast. I don't want to think a lot. I just want to get up there and throw. That can be good to some degree, but it's actually something that I need to be working on, having a more deliberate pre-shot routine so that I can focus in when I need to. As a matter of fact, if you've been watching some of my videos in the last month or so, I'm trying to tell myself, literally out loud, focus, because I'm trying to set into a routine to get my mind locked in on what I'm supposed to be doing, because my mind, with my ADD and everything, is all over the place. I need to develop a routine that helps me lock in and pay attention. Some of y'all are like me, and you need to develop something where you are taking a little more time to throw. But what I see a lot of people, and especially as people are watching the pros play and as tournament, league stuff go on, people get more serious and they start to add on more and more things to their pre-shot routine, using those as kind of a crutch when you're nervous. So whether you're too quick and don't have a long enough routine, or you're taking too long, I think there's a happy medium to that. And we're gonna talk about it, and we'll see. So this is where filming yourself, I think, is key. I think you should film yourself throwing drives, approaches, all 4 shots, especially driving and putting, to see what you're doing, because we tend to think we know how we're doing in our minds, and then we'll see it on film and realize we don't. But right now, when you're filming yourself, I want you to, when you go back and look at it, look at how you do your routine before you throw. So what that means is you set it up and make sure it's wide enough that you can capture your entire warm up, grab your disc, walk up to the shot and throw it, so you can see what you do and then start to compare what you do over and over again. But I would then also encourage you to, if you're going to play with some friends or a league or whatever, give your phone to one of the other card mates, especially if you're your friend, and say, hey, during this round, sometimes film me when I'm not paying attention to you filming me. Because see, what's going to happen is when we are filming ourselves and we know we're filming ourselves, we act better. It's kind of like right before we go to the dentist, we brush our teeth really well and floss our, I floss all the time. That's what happens. So when we know we're filming ourselves, we're heightened on our focus and we're trying to do everything right. Whereas if we get somebody else to film us while we're not paying attention, we don't know we're on camera, that's going to be the real us and how we interact with the disc, the throw, and also how we interact with the other players, because I think that's going to be important too. Remember, most of the time, we're not playing in a bubble by ourselves. When we're playing league or whatever, we're interacting with other people, and how we're affecting them can be important. Am I the slowest player on that card? Am I taking a long time so that the guys on the card really don't want to play with me? I'll be honest, when I start watching pro players, there's certain players, if they're on even the lead card, I question whether I want to watch them, because they drive me crazy about how long they take to throw their shots, and especially to putt. And you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the guy that everybody's like, oh my gosh, I can't stand to play with this guy. He's a great guy, but he takes so long. We don't want to be that guy. So that's where having a friend who can film you to let you see how you actually act in the wild of your own round can be very helpful. What also may be telling is how inconsistent you are. When the pressure ratchets up, do you take longer and longer? Or are there certain holes that you take a lot longer than others, and there are others that you just walk up and bam, you're out of there? It's going to be important, because you're building knowledge of how you play, who you are, and then that could help give you building blocks for how you can improve. Now, I think there are 4 stages to making your shot. And the first one is your decision-making stage. So one of the best things you can do is have a good game plan before you ever get on the course or get to that hole. So if you can practice and figure out what you want to do ahead of time, you've already abbreviated that decision-making process, so you know all I've got to do is step up and do the rest of the shot. So that when you step up to the disc, you've already decided, I'm going to use this disc, I'm going to throw this shot, and then it's a matter of, from that point on, it's just doing that routine. That's why when you play at your home course, you can play faster, because you've kind of already made these decisions, especially if you played someplace like Inverness. I've played a million holes out here. I pretty much, wherever the disc lands, I know what shot I want to make from there. So I don't have to go through the decision-making process as long as somebody else. But when you're playing a new course, you're playing a tournament, whatever, the stakes get bigger, so you need to make good decisions right from the beginning. And so often what happens when we get into pressure situations, we try to either abbreviate that or we make dumb decisions right at that front stage, and then we feel the tension throughout the rest of this stage. Step number 2 is feel and focus. And this is where you've already got the disc, you've already made the decision what you're going to do. Now you're just getting your body into the feel and the focus of what you're going to do with this shot. And so if it's on the tee, it's stamping up there and it's deciding where you're going to look, what target you're going to fixate on, and how you're getting your body prepared and envisioning making that shot. This is crucial. You've already made the decision what you're going to throw. Now you're envisioning and you're getting your body locked into how you're going to throw it. A lot of the top players are able to envision, whether it's close your eyes and draw that line in your mind of exactly what you're going to do, or you're looking at the basket or the target, the gap you're going to throw through. You can envision you're making that shot, and so you're getting your body focused in and getting that feeling, and you're locking in. There's a terminology for like the quiet eye, where you can see it when like the top pros are getting ready to make that putt, and it's like they just lock on like a tiger and they know what they're going to do. That's what you're trying to do with the second stage, is get locked in and focus. And that's where I mess up a lot of times. I forget to focus. I get step up. I know what I want to do, and I step up and I just try to do it instead of locking in and focusing. Now, it doesn't take a long time. It's really half a second, a second. It's like, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, I got it. Boom, I'm locked in. Step number 3, execution. It's really making the shot. If you know, okay, I'm just going to do a flat backhand that's going to go straight for 200 feet and then it's going to fade off. I know how to make that shot. So now I'm focusing on that point. That's what I'm aiming at. And I'm just going to step up. All right, I see it in my head. This is where I need to throw. This is what I need to do. And now it's just simply going from focus to execution. I take the step back. I take a quick breath. And then I just make the shot. I'm not adding a lot of extra stuff in there. And then the 4th step, which I think is really important that a lot of people miss out on, is the acceptance phase of this. If you've done your routine, you've done the steps that you need to do, you've done the best you can, you've taken out the variables that can mess with your head and mess with you. Like, oh, I wasn't focused, I wasn't doing this. And then you can accept how the shot turns out. And you have a very delineated roster of looking at what you did right and what you did wrong, and you can go, okay, yeah, I did all the right things and I just grip locked it a little, or I released it a little wrong on this angle, or whatever. And what that will do, why that's so important, is if you've got a good pre-shot routine, it allows you to give yourself some grace when you make bad shots, because you can get objective feedback to that shot and not make it about, I stink, I'm a bad player. It's, I made a bad shot. And it allows you to have a little more acceptance of that shot and not carry it with you to the next shot. And I think that's so important. And that's why when you see people getting up to putt, they get locked in so often, because it's really about fear. We're going to talk about that over by the green. Okay, I think one of the most crucial places to have a very quiet, simple pre-shot routine is in putting, because putting is really just all about nerves. If we're messing around, we can just, toss it in. I'm not even looking at the basket. I can throw it in. But as soon as the pressure kicks in and it's a tournament or whatever, suddenly my body doesn't seem to work right, and I can't make it into the basket from here. Things go wrong. And so what happens is we start to build in things to help cope with that. Some of it is good, but a lot of us tend to take it too far. Let me see if this seems familiar to you. You're playing a league round, or maybe even a casual round, and there's that guy, and everybody knows that guy because they played around with him. And so they step up, you know, do all that fiddling around, you know, get settled. Okay, now they're settled. And so then they start rocking, fake pump, 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 maybe do it one more time, then you get back, rock, rock, rock. And they throw it past the basket, and then they turn around and do it all again. Actually, there's several memes. There are a couple players on the tour right now that are kind of getting a reputation for just doing too much with their pre-shot routine. And I think it's detrimental both to your own mental game, but also to how you affect the players around you. And so that's why I think it's important to try to figure out how to narrow that down, make it simple, straightforward, and get out of your own head. Because I think the longer you sit there doesn't necessarily mean the better you're gonna putt. Oftentimes it means the nerves are coming in even stronger. Let's talk about it. So what happens with us in putting is we know it's nerve filled. It's basically who's the nerviest guy, because mechanically it's not a lot going on. You're just tossing a Frisbee into the basket. But oh, it's so hard when the pressure's on. And so what happens to us is we start building in what I call superstitious tweaks or movements that we think are gonna help us. Let me explain. Go back to this routine here. I'm here and it's in league and I need to make this putt. Even though it's only, you know, 10 feet away, I'm feeling nervous. And my normal routine is I get it and I just come to kind of get the feel. I just want that right there. Okay, but because I'm nervous, I do a couple extra. So now instead of 3 pumps, I've done 6. But you know what? I made the shot. It worked. So what does my brain do? The dopamine kicks in and go, that was good, yeah. So what's gonna happen the next time pressure's on me to make the putt? I'm in a similar situation and now I go, well, you know, 6 is actually better because I was able to focus in. So you start and you get up to 6, but you're still nervous. You haven't released yourself to putt. So you wanna add a few more. So now that 6 turns into 9 and you make the putt, or you don't. And you start playing this game of how many pumps do you need to add into it to feel comfortable. And the problem is you're never going to feel comfortable if you're playing that game. You're always gonna think, I need to add one more, I need to take one more away. So it's a trap a lot of times. Now, you'll see a lot of pro players that will have these twitches and things like that. I think of somebody like James Conrad. Tell me if you don't recognize this. You know, it'd be the flip the hair around, then it's the right side, left side, then pull the back of the shirt. He's got this whole routine. You can almost direct it from the TV what he's gonna do. Gannon Burr is another one. Now, fortunately, they are good enough players that I feel like in some ways they're overcoming their hang-ups and their twitches and stuff like that. But as you start to watch more and more of these pros that are maybe not the top tier guys that are winning all the time, but that secondary tier, because there's so much pressure, you can see them starting to build in more and more little twitches. They're trying to find that code to be able to lock in and push the nerves out just by becoming a robot. And some figure it out and others just start adding more and more. And so you start seeing them lock up by the basket and they're taking more time and they become kind of a side joke to people about how long they take to putt. And the problem is usually they're not putting that great. There are a few that are able to overcome all that. But I don't think that's the best avenue to go to build in a very elaborate routine to putting. My buddy, who's a pro, got me into disc golf in a lot of ways, helped me out back 30 years ago. When we played a couple years back, he told me that he had been struggling with his putting recently, and he's always been a good putter, good player. And he said what he had to do is he had to strip back his routine back to a simple routine. And he said, Pete, I have the disc, I put my marker down, I step up, I have my grip, and I just look up and make the shot. And he said, that became my routine, and I had it in my head. I had a timing, I had a way of talking to myself about it so that I got to push all the other noise out of there. And it was a very simple, repeatable, executable routine that got me focused, and it helped quiet the chaos. And I think that's what we need to look for. Everybody's gonna be different. So your routine may be, you know, I do 3 pumps or I do this or whatever. That's not the key. You've got to find what works for you. But you really want to try to make it as simple and as quick as possible for your personality type, because this is kind of a timed thing and you don't want to be the guy that's holding everybody up, especially if you've developed a routine and you're just out having fun and guys are standing around while you're making 15-foot putts because you're going back and forth and you're doing all this routine. That's not going to make you the most desirable player to play disc golf with. So there's the added benefit of if you're a faster player, not a crazy player, but a faster player, an efficient player, that's gonna help you with other people wanting to play with you because you're not gonna be that guy that drives them crazy. And let's face it, we all need as many friends as we can get. Okay, Pete, so how do we develop a good pre-shot routine? And that's a whole other video and for better people than me. But what it really comes down to is finding how you can get in, do those 4 stages in a quick, efficient manner. So if you remember what they are, you've got your decision stage, then you've got your feel, focus stage, then you've got your execution stage, and finally your acceptance stage. So how would I go about doing that? Well, you may want to start with putting because that's going to be the one that's got the most pressure on it. If you can develop a good routine putting, then you can kind of extrapolate that out to the other ones. But so I would probably, and oh, break my leg. I would not start out real far away, but I would go in one of my practice sessions, go, okay, let's try to work on developing a good routine. So what does that mean? You walk up, you place the disc, you get up on it, you decide, okay, I want to do this in a 3 count. So I look up, 1, 2, 3, boom. Or it could be a 5 count or whatever. You want to develop a rhythm, and you can do that internally by starting to time it out. So let's say I want to do a 5-second release. So, you know, it's taking me 5 seconds to do all this, look up, make the decision, and then 5 seconds to release. So decision, I want to use this, I want to go right here. Now I'm going to look, get in the mode, there's what I want to go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, release. And then take a second afterwards to go, how did I do? Except, man, I didn't do my routine, I could feel I was off, I was a little twitchy or something like that, and then put that in the, what am I going to do better next time, and then move on. And so I'm not here to become your coach and tell you the exact perfect routine that you need to have. I'm here to inspire you to work on developing a routine that works for you and doesn't drive other people crazy. Because let's face it, we don't want to do that. Plus, we want to be more effective. And I think if we can calm ourselves down, quiet our minds, have a better routine that is not 45 seconds long of me bouncing back and forth and doing all this, I think we're going to be better, more consistent players. Hope that makes sense, and please feel free to leave some comments, questions down below. I'm wrestling with this in my own head because my problem is I don't have a great routine right now. I'm a natural player, so what happens is I come up and I just grab it and throw, or a lot of times if I'm doing my flick putt, y'all see me, I just grab it. I do try to look at that chain and throw it, but I'm trying to at least get here, stop, say focus. Step number 2, decision making, I know I'm going to throw a flick. So step 2, I'm going to do feel and focus. Breathe, get set, comfortable, pick that ring you want, focus on it, execute. I didn't make it. Why didn't I make it? It's because I didn't stay with that ring and I didn't follow through to that ring. So my problem was my execution stage. So I need to work on making sure that I am in that whole thing, that I am executing, and I'm starting to dial that down where every time I throw, I'm executing and finishing at the basket. It's a great way to kind of have a built-in barometer of how you're doing during your game. If you're doing your same pre-shot routine, you can usually pick up on what it is that you're doing wrong and work on that one specific thing and just going, I don't know what's going on today, I'm just throwing like crap today. So it is very helpful, and I think it'll help you in the long run if you work on it. Guys, once again, thank you so much for being with me here. I appreciate you watching. It really does mean a lot to me. Please feel free to like and subscribe, tell other people about it, and I do hope to see you out on the course.